I really wanted to get into reading, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what books to read. I didn't know what genres I liked. I didn't know what authors I would like. So I did what most people do, and that is turn to BookTok. And whoa, were there a lot of suggestions. And I was looking through the comments, and some of them say, this is the best book ever. You should totally read this. How have I gone this amount of time without knowing this book existed? Whereas other people in the comments would equally have the same amount of passion, but be on the opposite spectrum, which would be, this is the worst book ever. How could you ever recommend this to me? And it really confused me, I'm not gonna lie. As someone who doesn't know anything about reading or what types of books would interest me, I just thought the only way I can figure that out is to read the books myself. So that's what I did. Hi, I'm Marley and I'm a newbie reader. I work full-time as a lawyer and I'm trying to figure out what my taste is as a new reader. So these are the books I decided to read based on what TikTok or BookTok recommended me. I thought in this video I would do different genres and different authors because how would I know my reading taste otherwise? The first book is a book that I would never in my life, probably ever, pick up to read, and that is Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. The main reason why I probably wouldn't pick it up, it's because it's like a historical fiction, women's fiction book, and that's not something I think I would gravitate towards or care about. So basically it's about Evelyn Hugo, shocker, who is this very famous old Hollywood star being interviewed for her relationships and her marriages and what happened behind the scenes that the world and the paparazzi never got to know, and I loved it. I'm not gonna lie, when I first started the book, it was a little bit slow for me. I wasn't very engaged. It took me a while to get into, but I am not gonna lie, I really liked Evelyn. And I think it's because I liked kind of coming of age stories, especially at the beginning when she's quite young, and to hear that she's so driven and ambitious, I love that. I love an underdog. So I was all for Evelyn. But I think what Taylor Jenkins Reid did really well is made her characters a little bit flawed. They feel like real human beings. Not one person is great, and it's not straightforward in who was a good and bad person. I think everyone's kind of morally grey. Not morally grey, but like they're not perfect individuals. And it made it feel like Evelyn was a real person, and it was exciting. This is the first book that made me stay up late to read because of the plot twists, particularly towards the end, and I had to finish the book. I've never had that before, so this is the first book that did that for me. I found out that this book was loosely based on Elizabeth Taylor, and then I went down a rabbit hole and looked at all the interviews and articles about Elizabeth Taylor because I think she was a little bit before my time, so I don't know huge amounts about her, but I was very intrigued, and when I get obsessed with something, I get really obsessed, so I had to find everything out. I love this book. It was a great read. It introduced me to a new author, a new genre, and I loved it. Highly recommend. Definitely worth the hype. 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I thought would be a slam dunk. Why? Because it's a romance book, and I think I love romance. Mainly because I love rom-com movies, so I thought any type of genre that I would like in TV shows and movies would probably translate best to books. And there were so many romance books. I had really a lot of trouble picking up one, if I'm going to be honest, so I feel like I'll probably do a series of this video on my channel because I would just want to try all the different books that BookTok has to recommend me. But I really wanted to pick up this book mainly because I've heard such amazing things about this author, and that is Emily Henry. And the one I decided to read was People We Meet on Vacation. I wanted to pick up this one mainly because I liked the cover and they go on vacation, and in Australia right now we're going into winter, so I wanted to pick something up summery and nice. So, and I came back from Japan, and what I want to do right now is go on vacation, so I thought this is right up my alley. It is Friends to Lovers. I found out that I love Friends to Lovers, I think I have a soft spot for that because that's how my partner and I met. And so I think I really like that reading in a book. For me, it was a little bit confusing because of the time skips, mainly because each chapter is going to and from different summers and different vacations that Alex and Poppy have been on together. And what I find most unusual is that I get that their opposites attract, but it doesn't seem like in the present day when you meet Alex and Poppy together that Poppy really likes Alex. All the things that make him him, she kind of talks bad about or like makes fun of, which is, I think, a bit weird for someone who's supposedly your friend and someone that you end up liking. Like, if you don't like those things about that person, then why are you friends with them? I think Poppy's more casual, carefree, bubbly, outgoing, and Alex is a bit more rigid. He's got his routine. He's very particular how he does things, and maybe it's because I'm leaning a little bit towards Alex, and every time she had a little dig at Alex, I felt like it was a dig at me, if I'm going to be honest. I don't really like that. I think the conflict was interesting, or maybe it wasn't interesting, but I guess you see it coming, but the resolution I think makes sense in its character growth. The ending was okay. I can still picture it in my brain, like the book. Like reading, I don't know if you like this, but when I read books, I picture what it looks like to me, and it was like I am watching a movie. And now this book is being turned into a movie, which is amazing. So I will be definitely watching that. I did like this book. It probably wasn't my favorite romance book to read. I think I'll still read other books by Emily Henry. I would recommend this book if you like friends to lovers, opposites attract, if you don't mind time skips for different like summers, if you don't mind reading that. If you want like a beachy, summery theme, this is the book for you. So I'm going to give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I do want to read fantasy eventually, but I think the way for me to get to fantasy is romance fantasy. So that's why I picked up Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is a very thick book for someone who is new to reading. How many pages is this? Okay, it's over 450 pages. She's thick, but I wanted to understand the hype. Everyone was talking about how amazing the romance is, so I like romance, and there was a lot of dragons. I think for me, it took me a while to get into the book. I think maybe because there's a lot of world building and you need to understand all the characters and the backstory of the female main character. So I think it probably took me like 200-ish pages to get in to the story. But if I could, I think if I could describe it, it gives me the YA kind of fantasy books from like 2010, like Hunger Games or Divergent, Twilight, that type of era. Mainly because Violet isn't physically the strongest, but she's very smart and she has to overcome all of these trials to get through college because she's in some sort of school with dragons, and to make sure she graduates, she needs to survive each task or assignment or whatever you call it. And I think that's a really weird concept for a school. Like, if you're trying to get recruits and soldiers in because you want more soldiers, why would you kill them off during their training as cadets? It doesn't make any sense to me. Sometimes I felt like the author was just introducing us to these characters just to kill them off. And I think because it was my first like romance fantasy, I wasn't used to people dying. So like every time someone died, I'm like, oh, that was very high stakes. I think I like the high stakes, but I wasn't prepared for it, if that makes sense. And I think like the conflict thing at the end was a bit confusing. Like I wasn't sure. I don't think it was as well described as it could have been. And I didn't really like that. I don't really get the appeal of Xaden. Shock horror, I know if that's maybe controversial to say, but I feel like with male main characters, I want the author to show me why male main character is the love interest rather than them just telling me they should be. If that makes sense, like I want to feel the romance and the connection. I just don't really feel that with Xaden and Violet, to be honest, other than that he wants to kill her. And yeah, I was really excited because it's enemies to lovers. It's an okay book. It's not my favorite. I may continue on the series, but I don't know if that's going to happen at this point, but we'll see. And I gave this book 3.5 out of 5. I would recommend this if you like enemies to lovers, if you like dragons, if you like high stakes. I would say 3.5 stars for me. I'd probably continue reading the series, but I don't know if I'd love it, so I'll see what happens with the next book. Okay, so those are my honest thoughts and opinions as someone who is new to reading and to BookTok and to figuring out what her taste is. If you have read any of these books, please let me know in the description below. If you have any other BookTok recommendations or just normal reading book recommendations for someone who's new to reading, please let me know those as well. And until the next video, I'll see you till then. Bye!
요즘 내 일기가 재미없어진 이유를 찾았어. I've been wasting all this time finding words to let go. Cause I'm looking for Neverland.